Hi, JD here again. This is a very quick video just to discuss gap cover and what gap cover is and whether you should purchase it when you buy a new or a used car. Now, I'm quite surprised actually because I thought everybody pretty much knew what gap cover was, but it seems from the emails that I've been receiving that a few of you perhaps aren't sure what gap cover is and whether you should go for it and the different kinds of gap cover and also where you should perhaps purchase it from. So that's what I want to talk about in this very short video. So what is gap cover? Well, essentially what gap cover is it's an insurance policy, and let's hope that you never need to use it, but it's an insurance policy whereby if you write your car off, or your car is written off by your insurance company, or maybe it's stolen and you never get it back, it pays the shortfall between what your car insurance company is going to give you for that car at any given time and what you currently perhaps owe on the finance agreement. Now, you can take gap cover out whether you've used finance or not. I would still personally take gap cover out even if I paid cash on a car, because it's a depreciating asset and it's always going to lose money, and whatever happens, if you've got gap cover, you will always get the full amount back, providing you choose the correct kind of policy. So essentially, let's take an example. So I've got my spreadsheet up here again, and I'm always going to use my BMW M140 figures as an example because it's a real world example. And as we know, my BMW M140 is depreciating rapidly. So it's quite a good example as to why gap cover is worthwhile. So what we've got here, look, as I've looked at in previous videos, I purchased the car for £31,116 and I paid £1,049 deposit. So the total amount I borrowed was £30,067, and this is a PCP agreement, so it's got a guaranteed future value of £14,117.30 and the APR is 3.9. Anyway, so let's say I go out in my car this afternoon, and touch wood this doesn't happen, but I write the car off. I have paid 10 monthly payments, so roughly the amount I owe on that car as at this month, if you like, after I've paid 10 monthly payments, is £27,038.57. Now, I happen to know that the cap value, the kind of value that probably the insurance company would pay out, let's assuming the car is written off, would probably be about 21,000. Let's assume it's 21,000. It might be a little bit more. Hopefully I'll never need to find out. But let's say it's 21,000. So what happens? Well, no surprise, we owe the finance company £6,038.57. So where do we get that from? Well, the insurance is only paid as 21,000. We've got to get it from somewhere. And that's what gap cover does. What gap cover will do, up to an agreed limit, although some policies do have an unlimited limit, they will pay out the difference between what the car insurance company gives you and what is either outstanding on the finance agreement. So in this case, in this example, if I took gap cover out that covers the difference between the insurance payout and what's currently outstanding on the finance, they would give me that £6,038.57. So happy days. A better one to go for, and there are two others. One is a gap cover policy that will pay you the invoice price. So they're not going to just give me £6,038 in this example. They're going to give me the difference between 21,000 and the original purchase price, which in my case was 31,116. So they're going to give me over £10,000 so I can go out and buy another. So that's what we call return to invoice gap cover. The last option is a gap cover policy that will pay out what is required to buy a new car. So a new car replacement gap cover policy. Now, BMW had a price increase this year, as did many other manufacturers. So you might not be able to buy the same car and the same spec for 31,116. So another option of gap cover is new car replacement. So they will pay out the difference between what the insurance company is going to give us and what it would cost today to buy my car again. So that's essentially what gap cover does. Now, How much is gap cover and where should we buy it from? Well, very kindly, a viewer of my channel sent me this. Now this is part of their finance agreement. Now this isn't, I'm not saying this is BMW, I don't know who this is, but look what they paid. So they paid for their gap cover £399. Now you might think that's reasonable. It's not when I show you some examples later on. But what really irritates me is not only have they paid £399, it's been added to their finance agreement. And their finance agreement is 9.4% APR with a 9.01% annual rate. Stay tuned for another video on how we can convert 9.01 to 9.4 if you're sad like me and you're interested. However, look at this. So they paid £399 for the gap cover, but they were charged £76.17 in interest. So if they were to run this, I think this is, yes, it's a 47-month term. So if they were to run it for full term, that gap cover would cost them £475.17. Now you might think, well, that's all right. It doesn't actually say how much it's costing them. So let's say 475, let me just get my calculator. So on top of their finance PCP agreement, it's costing them 475.17 over 47, £10.11 a month. So you might think, and this is what happens, you get to your dealers and they build all these extra things into your agreement and they go, okay, well for £10 a month you can get gap cover. And you probably, 9 times out of 10, people would go, yeah, that's great, thanks very much. However, all I've done here is I've nipped over to Google and I've typed in gap cover into Google. Now, I should say I'm not affiliated with any gap insurance company. I'm only going on what's come up in the Google search, and I'm only going on companies that I have purchased gap cover from in the past. There are many out there. I don't know, I've never had to claim on one, so I don't know how good they are, but what I do know is they're a lot cheaper than what you will pay for gap cover at a dealer's. So let's have a look at a couple. So this is Click for Gap. So clickforgap.co.uk. I typed in my vehicle price of 31,116 and I put a claim limit of £15,000. Now what does that mean? That means that they will pay up to £15,000. So providing the difference between what the insurance company will offer and what you owe on the finance, providing that is never greater than £15,000, we're on to a winner. So with that kind of claim limit and that kind of purchase price, I've done it for 3 years. Let's make it fair. Let's go for 4 years. That's interesting. Look, that's coming out at £483. That's actually quite expensive. This company used to be more competitive than that, so maybe things have changed. But let's just drop the claim limit to £10,000. £409. So that's a bad example. Okay, that's more expensive. Now what you've got to remember is though that the example that I gave you was probably, I think it was a used car, so it was probably not based on a purchase price of 31,116. Gapinsurance123.co.uk. 4 years, they're coming out at, that's better, £208.95 including insurance premium tax. So almost half what we would pay to the dealers. And if you want to pay it monthly, stick it on an interest-free credit card. So £208.95 versus £399 plus that 9.4% APR interest, making it nearly £500. Now look at this. This is interesting as well. With who is this? Gapinsurance123.co.uk. Don't worry, no claim limit. So we don't even have to worry about specifying a claim limit. So this is I would recommend this company. This looks pretty good. And the last one, who I have bought from in the past, although I have bought from Click for Gap in the past as well. £15,000 claim limit with Gap Insurance. Again, let's make it 4 years. £215.82 invoice Gap or replacement Gap. So remember, that's where even if to replace the car with the same spec is going to cost us more than originally we paid, £239.30 with a claim limit of 15 grand. just out of interest, let's go back to Gap Insurance. Yeah, it was 4 years. Yeah. So this is very good, look, because that's combined return to invoice and vehicle replacement. So either way, if it's return to invoice or it's going to cost us more to get the same specification car again brand new, $208.95 versus $399 plus 9.4% APR, making it $475.17. And there are lots of others out there. If you take somewhere like gapinsurance.co.uk, you can find discount codes out there for them as well, where you can get an extra 10% off at times. So all I would say is gap cover worth having? I would say always yes, even if you pay cash, because you know you spend £30,000 and you write your car off in 3 years' time, and you're probably going to get £15,000 back. You've lost 15 grand. With gap cover for 200 odd pounds, you're going to get all of that money back. So that's how gap cover works. And what I would say to do is shop around. Do not get gap cover from the dealer. I'll give you an example when it was a good idea to buy gap cover from a dealer. About 3 years ago, I bought a brand new Porsche Cayman from a Porsche dealer. I won't say which one. And they wanted to charge me, and I don't know, don't quote me, something ridiculous for gap cover. It was coming out, I don't know. You can sometimes pay £600, £800 sometimes for gap cover. I think they wanted to charge me a similar high amount. I sat in reception while they were doing some other paperwork, and I went online and I got a quote, and it was 3 or 4 years ago. It came out at something like £125 for exactly the same cover. The claim limit was the same, the term was the same, everything was the same. And I said to the business manager there, look, I've just found this quote online, and they matched it. They didn't make any money on that policy at all, but sometimes dealers would prefer you to take it with them because it makes the whole process simpler. So if you can get the dealer to match it, go with the dealer. But if not, shop around. Thanks for watching. Please comment and subscribe. See you next time.